Hey guys, welcome back to Andertons TV. I'm joined by the wonderful
Digital John.
Digital John. We are checking out something rather new and exciting today, but first, if you would like to win yourself a wonderful real clon,
this is true,
none of this fake malarkey, then you need to like and subscribe to the channel because that's how you win it. We have the brand new Kraken MK2.
the sequel. The Two Towers, Attack of the Clones, Kraken, any of the famous
Star
sequels.
Wars film, actually. Just going to point that out now.
All the famous sequels. This is the Kraken version. So yeah, this is brand spanking new. It's got a few more features than the original Kraken. It's not like the original Kraken was bad in any way. They needed to change it. None of that. They just wanted to, add some other new features that the Victory community were requesting, and just, bring it up to date. Add a few more, again, cool features. Just to add a bit more flexibility. It's still the Kraken, sounds like the Kraken, but now it's just like the Kraken Plus. It's got some more cool stuff on it. So you heard there in the intro, that was a kind of very high gain, saturated thing. It's more known for that, the progressive, higher gain stuff. It's got that American flavor, but still with that kind of fatter British thing as well. But now we've also got a clean channel, dedicated clean channel. The original Kraken could do clean. You could kind of clean it up a bit, roll the gain back. But now we've got a dedicated clean channel.
I think what we're going to do today, we're just going to show you these new features, compare it to the first iteration of the Kraken. There'll be timestamps as well below, so you can chop and change for whatever section you want to look at as well. But I think let's bring you up to speed on what the Kraken MK2 has got to offer first. Many moons ago, Robert and Martin got together to design the Kraken. Again, they worked together tirelessly on this to bring you a 2-channel amplifier with gain 1 being that looser low-end British sound. Again, if you max out the gain, you can get it still pretty chunky, or back it off, it gets nice ambient sounds. I think that was the one thing that Robert and Martin wanted to pull together on this, was a lot of amplifiers in that high gain realm don't necessarily roll off very well. So for your ambient proggy stuff, it's perfect for it. Like all things, they evolve. Along comes the Super Kraken, again with more added features. That's obviously your bigger, more full fat head. Had more features on it. Again, a dedicated clean channel as well. And it was time then to look at the smaller lunchbox head and bring those features to that. And this is it. I mean, what we've got here as well, it's worth pointing out, this is the newer to the Victory line again, compact sleeve head. You can get it obviously in its classic lunchbox head as well, but for you traditionalists out there who like something a bit more aesthetically pleasing, that's your boy. Yeah,
again, Victory listened to the community, what they wanted, and they wanted a nice little sleeve. And it looks really smart, I think.
Yeah.
Cool, okay, should we have a look at some features?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, the first thing you may notice is that we have a presence control. Obviously, we've talked about the clean channel, that's kind of obvious at this point. So 3 channels, but we now have a presence. With the presence off, that may look a bit dark. You may see with your eyes there and hear that it's dark. It's not at all. With presence off, that's the kind of top end of the original Kraken, the MK1. This presence allows you to dial in even more top end kind of sizzle and fizz that's desirable, and quite a lot of people requested that. In metal, it's a very aggressive, full on thing. You need that high end sizzle for all of that aggression. So that is kind of presence that you could add on top. It's not flat when it's in the middle. That's just a important thing to note there. And around the back of the amp, I'm sure there'll be a slot of this, inserted, but there's also a presence push and pull switch, so you can determine what kind of high shell frequency is accentuated. And let's demonstrate that. So currently, we are on the MK2.
You're probably going to hear it better on the Gain 1 channel. So
yeah, okay.
I think we're running on that now.
So this is just standard, drop D chord. Let's now bring the presence up halfway and all the way. In the room, that's super vivid and obvious, and there's tons on kind of on the pots here. Same with the EQ, nice powerful controls that really do vividly change something.
If we just sit it at 12 o'clock, what I'll do is I will reach around the back and and engage the present shift. So
cool. You ready?
So this is with the present shift in at the minute. And then out.
Yeah, and
yeah.
then back
See,
in.
with it in, it's going to accentuate more of that high mid stuff there. So if you're lower tuned, I remember seeing something with Rabia and Martin where they were saying it was, again, your lower tune community playing the 8-string stuff. As good as the Mark I Kraken was, I think a lot of people were running overdrives into it, you know, again, just to boost that top end a little bit. And again, for lead stuff as well, you want it to be searing and cut through, whereas now you've actually got that option as well, which is obviously a fantastic addition from Victory.
And on the kind of other end of that, if you're talking about highs, on the low end of things, there's also a kind of bass cut switch around the back. So if you are a player that, you know, drop Z or P or something like that, or, you know, 8-string, 9-string, whatever, then you can essentially roll off the low end and have a kind of high pass that's not too aggressive. It doesn't, you know, make your tone thin or anything. It's something you feel in the room, and on recordings, you know, this is going to just clean up that low end and make it nice and tight and still get that kind of punchy low end you get from standard tuning. So to demo this, what we're going to do, I'm just going to chug. Again, we're in drop D, we could go lower than this, but I'm just going to do a few chugs, and then Ben is going to pop this bass focus switch in and out. And hopefully you should be able to hear it through the cameras, you know, on the audio as well. But in the room, we can hear it. So. There is a kind of lower bloom, 100%.
Yeah.
In the room, again, that's going to be a subtle thing that just all these small things add up, especially when mixing and live, you know, sound. So again, a nifty little feature on the back. Do you want to talk about the balance control next?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm sure Oz is going to pop this on the screen, but because you've got this addition of the clean channel as well, the clean and gain channels you can see on the amp, the gain 1, sorry, they share the same parameters. And as you're going to get with that, there's going to be some imbalances. These are all foot switch controllable as well, so you've got various inserts on the back as well, so you've got full creative control live over this. What Victory have done, which is fantastic on this, you've got a balance knob as well, so we've got it set about 2 o'clock at the minute, just so when you're switching between clean and gain 1, there shouldn't be too much of a volume imbalance there. So we haven't actually heard any of Game 1, I don't believe, yet.
No, let's go for it.
So let's hear some Game 1 now. It's really dynamic as well. Like when I've played a lot of amps in the past, particularly high gain, where if you're playing lighter, you feel like the amp is wanting to push you a little more.
Yeah.
Whereas that one, if you're playing lightly, you're going to get exactly what you're playing.
Let's clean it up. Position 2. So it's got that full dynamic range.
It's almost like a clean channel anyway. Even when you're just playing lightly there, it's brilliant. Let's dive into the actual clean channel itself now. On the front, it's a 3-way little switch there, so there's no push-pull. I think the jack has got, again, it's a shared sort of crunch channel, but this is just on a little switch. So if we knock that up, maybe add a little bit of reverb or something so it's not quite as dry.
Shout. Let's cloud burst it. I think that would be a good point to talk about the compression of this channel.
Yeah.
So, under the fingers, definitely feels slightly compressed. There's a great video that Victory have put up of Rabia and Martin Kidd talking about this, but now playing through it, you can totally feel it. It's very kind of spongy, I think is the word. People throw that word around a lot, but it kind of is. Because of the way the topology of this amp is kind of, built, there is a kind of compromise here with the way that this clean channel exists. That's, that's the simplest way of putting it. There's a better video of how they explain that. But when you play through it, it does feel slightly compressed, but it's not in a kind of limiting way.
No.
It's a very musical compression. And again, when you're digging a bit, it's still got tons of headroom, even though it feels compressed. It's a kind of weird compromise, but it's great.
It's not breaking up, which is nice. And I think the one thing I've noticed, and this was the target with the clean channel, whether it be on the Super Kraken or the Kraken Mark II, both Rabia and Martin said, they've had poor experiences with clean channels on high gain amps before, so this was something that they're obviously going to nail the gain channel they have on the Mark 1, but getting a decent clean channel out of an amp that sounds as good high gain, that's the challenge. And I think they've done it brilliantly. I mean, when you're obviously in your sort of position 2 there, all the highs ring out beautifully. It's a really harmonically rich sound. So if you were to stack even something like a light drive on it, it's just going to sound brilliant.
Yeah,
do you want to try that now?
Do that, good shout. So clean channel, with nothing on it, sounds like that, then just the first one in the protein drive, nice little bit. Let's go neck pickup. Really dynamic. Really
that stacks really nicely against that.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's great.
I mean, let's push it even further, just why not?
Yeah.
Good fun all round, basically.
That's brilliant. So, I think what we should do now, let's compare, because we have got the Mark 1 sat here anyway.
Yeah.
And I know a few people in the comment section have been dying to hear how it actually compares, so let's do it.
Yeah.
So we're going to start now on Gain 1 of the Mark 1 Kraken, Gain 1 Mark 2, Gain 2 Mark 1, Gain 2 Mark 2. That was a lot of thinking
Said
there.
that 5 times fast.
Yeah. EQ-wise, we're set exactly the same here. Gain is the same on both as well, so you'll be able to hear if any differences at all. Let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah.
So, John, let's start Mark 1 Kraken, Gain 1.
Here we go. Cool. Mark 2. Yeah, so definitely very similar in kind of vibe. And the presence is at noon at the minute, so we've still got all that scope to add. I think we should do that contrast.
Yeah? Let's do it. So let's bring the presence in. Again, back onto Mark 1 Kraken.
Yep.
To me, the way the compression sits on the Mark II, it's almost very plexi-ish with the tube scope, because when you actually dig into the chords, it's got that dimed plexi, like that explosiveness to it.
Thump.
The thump that you get from it. So that's really interesting. Again, we've got the bass focus isn't engaged on any of these as well, so no tampering in the lows there, but I think the presence really helps it. I think you can hear like this, the Mark I sounds great on its own, but it's a little less muddy, I think, the Mark II. You get a little bit more definition and richness. And again, like if Gain 1 is meant to be that British sounding amplifier, you need the presence knob just to bring those highs in and that cut through.
Can we dine it? Can we dine the presence?
Oh yeah, go on, let's do it.
All the way.
All the way. So we'll go Mark 1 again, why not?
Yeah. It's there. It's present.
Everyone's iPhone speakers are shattering right now.
Yeah, that's present for real.
Yeah, definitely. So I think let's dive onto the meat and potatoes of this now. So let's do Gain 2. Again, like we've done on Gain 1, we'll keep the presence backed off completely on the Mark II Kraken. Cool, let's start on Mark 1 Kraken.
Okay. Yeah, Nice and aggressive.
Yeah, instantly. I mean, like I say, the bass focus isn't engaged, but it's just tighter. You don't like, for me, I wouldn't need to run a tube screamer in that. I mean, I play a lot of heavy stuff, and in most amps, I'll whack a tube screamer in front of it. But even as it is with that, and like I say, the presence is rolled off here, but it's actually a little bit more top-endy as well, which is quite nice. I mean, if we bring the presence like we've done on game 1, back in at noon, so we're on Mark I Kraken again.
Yeah, it's a really appealing, like, high-mid thing. Yeah, all the pick attack. That stuff really cuts. Feels good.
Yeah, that's fantastic, that is.
Dime it all the way.
Oh, God, here we go. All right.
I lost how to play a guitar. Yeah, it almost goes like
That's
old
right.
school 80s vibe. Good fun.
Yeah, a lot of times I think people in the market out there will comment on it and say, you know, why have they done this? What's the point in doing like Mark II iterations on this? For me, in the room, I'm sure you'll be able to hear it as well. There is a night and day difference. The Mark I Kraken has kind of set the benchmark here. They've then done the Super Kraken, added a couple of features, but even still, there's features on this that the Super Kraken doesn't have as well. It doesn't have the presence knob on the Super Kraken as well. So I think this will appeal to a lot of players who maybe are doing a lot of traveling about. You're going to get way more out of this amplifier.
It's true, like everything from, again, the clean channel is a very desirable clean channel by itself. It's a super flexible, lineup to the Victory lineup. No, it's a super, that was a shit line. One of the most flexible amps in the Victory lineup, I'd say, in my opinion anyway. I mean, they're all pretty flexible, but because this can cover such a wide breadth of, the maddest high gain sizzly stuff to the clean, it's got tons in the box, for sure.
It's almost like the Jack on many, many, many steroids.
It's a cool bit of kit.
I mean, I think one thing we haven't done yet is, and again, a lot of players will be wanting to hear this, is how it handles lower tunings.
Yeah.
So should we do some super...
I think you should do that.
Let's do it. I'll have a go.
Nice.
Cool.
So you're in B?
Yeah.
Yeah?
So what I've got here is just a Jimroot USA Strat EMG 8160. I'm just going to be running into gain 2 of the new Kraken in drop B with some thick old strings on it.
Yeah, sweet.
That's great. That's super, I think a lot of metal players will feel like, for me, I play through a lot of high gain amps, and a lot of time I think, I need a drive on that, I need this. It just feels great. It goes super chuggy, it's brilliant.
It's it takes something away from it if you put something in front of it, almost.
I mean, I'm a firm believer, and I kind of like to get as much out of the source tone as possible.
I'm the same.
So again, there's no drives in front of that, anything. What you're hearing it's just the organic sound of this amp, and it's great. I'm going to go even lower.
Do it.
Whack me on tuning, would you?
Sweet.
Mate, put the bass boost in. You've got to put the bass boost
I've got so many leads right now. Keep going.
I think I'm closer for a reach around here.
Same again. Good stuff. I keep on finding like the bass boost obviously feels great, but that presence, I kind of like the sweet spot of just shy of noon.
It's a really reactive presence control. Like, to be honest, it brings in so much top end. I think you find that same with guitars and amps. A lot of the time you can tweak a parameter on something and it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it's brilliant.
It's nice having powerful controls on amps. Like some amps don't really do much when you tweak the EQs and stuff, but having stuff when you change it, it makes an actual change, and you can tell the change happens, and it feels good on your fingers.
Just for comparison here, I think let's just hear it, that tone through the Mark I Kraken, this guitar sound. You'll hear why stuff like the addition of the presence control is such a massive feature for this lower stuff.
I'll switch halfway through. Do you want?
Yeah, go for it. So.
Nice.
Tight.
Yeah, man. Cool. So I think that pretty much wraps up this demo of the brand new Victory Kraken Mark II. Available now. Again, you can get this through Andertons. Links in the description. Anything else left to say, Ben?
I don't know. That's made me excited. Like, my heart is generally racing. I want to sack off the rest of the day and just play this now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Your face when it switched to the new one was great.
Yeah, that's going to be a great capture, that one. Yeah, I'm going to go home and steal this. So
good stuff. Like and subscribe.
While I do that,
like
and subscribe.
Yeah. See you in the next one.